Hey,
Hey, Tom.
how's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Good. It's so nice to see you. It's been
Yeah,
so long.
yeah. Wow, you look so nice.
You too.
And
So are you in you're in Korea right now?
yeah, for temporarily, yes.
Nice. Nice. That's good. And
Wow.
are you living in Boston or are you still in near New
Boston,
York?
yeah, yeah. But I commute both New York and Boston because our studio is in New York City, so
Right, you still have that. The
yeah,
same place?
yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, how about you? Are you in Pennsylvania area?
I'm outside of Philadelphia. I'm actually in Jersey.
Oh, yeah, right, that's right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Congratulations, your new house.
Thank you. It's coming together. The kitchen is I mean you can see it here. It's me and my
Wow.
family put it all together and did
Oh,
everything. So it's
wow. That's nice.
turning out okay.
Yeah, yeah. You picked the color?
Yeah.
Wow.
And installed cabinets to the
Uh-huh.
floor. Like my family's really into that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow. So you live with your family now?
No, they live
No.
about 15 minutes away.
Oh, your
So
parents live nearby you, like in New Jersey? Oh, I didn't
yeah.
know that. Oh, wow, that's nice. I mean, your parents are, so proud of you.
That's yeah. And it's nice to be around family. So
Yeah, I see.
it's good.
Yeah, that's nice. So you're in summer break, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
For 3 more days.
Oh, I
Like and
see.
then I go up to BUTI
Oh, yeah,
and teach there.
right. Yeah, that's right. So welcome to our episode.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, thank you so much for being with me today. I think our audience are very excited to hear about your story today. So, if you like, could you introduce yourself for a short, sentence?
Sure. So I'm Tom Weaver. I'm a pianist and a composer. I currently teach at the Curtis Institute and the Boston University Tanglewood Institute and perform, compose, and a little bit of conducting and try and do a little bit of everything if I can.
Yeah, you are a multi-talented as you are. Yeah, so I have like a lot of questions for you, but we don't have to go through all of them, but if I love to hear, every single story anyway. So should I start with first question?
Sure, why not? Let's
Yeah,
go with it.
yeah. So um could you tell me about your earliest memory of music? What drew you to the pianist as a child?
Yeah. So I think there are a couple things that kind of ended up happening. And so my grandmother's an organist. Um, and I guess when I was little, and I don't really remember this,
Mhm.
she showed me how to play a couple things on a
Oh.
keyboard, like even how to read music
Right. Wow.
on a keyboard. And my aunt and uncle had given me like a little play one. And apparently I was just sitting there like reading Christmas carols all the time and saying that I wanted piano lessons, but I was told that I shouldn't take piano lessons until I was about 7 or 8.
Mhm.
And so I waited.
Okay.
By the time I turned 7 or 8, I was like, okay, I want to take piano lessons still
Okay.
and
Yeah.
started doing it.
Oh.
And I think really the big thing that made me want to play the piano
Mhm.
is actually Star Wars. Um,
Oh.
because I loved the music so much. I just wanted to play the music.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't want to play one part. I wanted to play all the parts.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, great. I can play piano. I can play Star Wars. And I haven't stopped since then.
Oh, I see. Wow. So you're like a big fan of Star Wars?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it deserves credit for making me love music as much as I do.
Oh, okay, got you. Wow. That's great. I didn't know your grandmother was organist. That's amazing.
Yeah. She worked at a church near us. And,
Oh.
uh, and then I started playing organ in church
Oh, okay. So
from up to it at one point. Yeah.
okay, so you got an organization from your grandpa grandmother or just How did you?
And from another organist in the area
Okay.
as well. So just a little bit, and I wouldn't call myself an organist, but
Yeah, right.
it made me do a lot of accompanying when I was
Sure, right.
in high school.
Uh-huh. Oh, I see. That's great. Um, so I understand you had an early debut. Can you walk me through what that experience was like and how it shaped your understanding of performance?
Well, I think just I studied with my grandmother for about
Sure.
maybe 3/4 of a year. And
Uh-huh.
then I ended up with a different piano teacher that was very much about getting performances and
Mm.
putting people in front of audiences as much as
Mhm.
possible.
Mhm.
So it's like by the time you're doing that, sorry, I just had a couple show up on the screen. By the time you're doing these early performances, it just gets you used to being in front of a an audience.
Mhm.
And I think because I performed when I was 8, because I performed when I was 9, it made it easier when you're walking on stage at 11, then easier when you're at
Wow.
13, easier when you're
Wow.
15. Then you probably start getting to thinking too much and it gets harder.
Mhm.
But knowing that you've been through the ropes and you've done it and it's
Mhm.
been a
Right.
part of your life, it's been a
Right.
natural part of your life, I think
Uh-huh.
that's the important thing.
Right,
To
right.
remember that when you actually start to think about,
Right.
wow, this is actually really hard.
I see. Wow. So, I mean, we what was the first piece we worked together was the piano piece, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So,
The piano piece came before the trio, right?
oh no, then trio was the first one, right?
Trio, okay.
Oh, I see. Well, now I remember more clearly. Yeah, right. The trio first and then piano piece later. So when I work with you and you perform in the stage, I see your natural, performance and very, like brighten you more, more, more. So I see now, oh, you have used to do this like stage, yeah, performance from the young age. So that's
I,
really impressed.
yeah.
Yeah, yes.
I have to say, I tell the story of
Yeah.
playing that piece so
Oh, really?
much.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really loved the piece and it was so much fun to play it.
Ah.
And I just remember the way I was standing that night,
Ah,
like by the, because I had to play so much inside the piano.
right.
So I was standing and when I stood up to take a bow, my
Uh-huh.
leg was so stiff.
Oh.
I didn't know if I was going to be able to walk off stage or not.
Oh no.
And I feel like I was like hobbling off stage. It was hysterical.
Wow. Thank you for your, best
But
effort
so
on
I loved it.
that.
It was just the things that end up going through your head when you're playing. It's like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to
Yeah.
stand up.
I see. So that was like first ever kind of physical, more challenging piece.
It was the most that I've been back and forth. I had done it
Okay.
before, but
Right.
it was a long time to be standing.
Right. But you're the
Yeah.
perfect pianist who can do it. Only you
No,
can do
I appreciate it.
it. Yeah, that was like a very fond of a memory with you and Menace. Oh, wow.
But it was a great concert, I think.
Yes.
And we did it twice.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I w- yeah, I also appreciate the program all this by Kate Slav as well. And two concerts are one was for the student composer concert, and the other one was for the Women's International Women's Day. So it was very meaningful concert for me during the Menace time. So, and especially,
Yeah.
you were only the pianist who, willing to work with me.
Willing to play new
Yeah.
music is important. I love it.
Right. Yeah.
We did the song came first.
Yes, yes. I mean, in
The
between.
song maybe
So trio,
in between.
yeah,
Trio.
trio and the song, and the last one was the piano. Yeah, so great. You were the best of the best. I haven't seen any pianists like you yet, so I'm trying to search more. But
Thank you.
hopefully we work together in the future. So
I go to Boston and I go to New York.
sure. Yeah, let's plan things about it in the future. Yeah, that must be exciting. So like in this context, when you're selecting pieces for a performance, what's going through your mind? How you choose what stories you want to tell?
That's a good question. I think programming's it's not that it's difficult. It's just that you have to take a lot of care in how you present it, and you want to run through so many different possibilities. And I
Mm-hmm.
think my problem is I want to play everything,
Mm.
uh, just because it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And my other problem is that I like sight reading so much that I like just opening up new pieces and
Mm.
playing them, and then not thinking, oh wait, I can do this in a performance or
Mm.
something like that. It's more the personal enjoyment of getting to
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
those pieces. So I think what I usually do when I program is I find maybe one or two pieces
Mm-hmm.
that I know I have to play.
Mm.
And it's like, okay, I'm programming this. I really want to play it. It needs to be a part of the program.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, I try and draw the story from that one piece. So
Wow.
find other pieces that might be either not influenced or just find a relationship between
Mm.
pieces that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
usually comes from
Mm-hmm.
one project that I'm really interested in.
I see.
And then it becomes a whole program that
Mm-hmm.
that I'm really excited about because it ends up telling a story about maybe one
Sure.
focal point
Right,
or just
right,
different perspectives
right,
on similar things.
right. Yeah, I see all us every single of your concert series program. So I, exactly, what you tell just told me. So see the story, and finally I see the like this point, one point. So that's kind of important to think of when you program the concerts. That's really really inspiring. Um, so sometimes you move between different musical words like jazz, classical, and experimental. How did you develop this musical flexibility? I'm very curious about it.
That's an interesting question.
Uh-huh.
I'd be so hesitant to call myself someone that can play jazz.
Well,
Um, like,
music probably influenced by jazz elements,
yeah,
kind of.
it's I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
And I think it's just I've ended up in spaces that I've been forced to do different things
Mm.
that I wasn't necessarily comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even growing up, when I was in high school, I was a rehearsal pianist for the musicals, that kind of thing.
Ah.
So that gave me more comfort in like a popular idiom.
Uh-huh.
And we did West Side Story, which exposed me to Leonard Bernstein's music
Sure.
when I was young too. And that has a lot of jazz influence
Mm.
in it. So that sort of took a backseat while I went to college. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then even after that, the people I started hanging out with liked different kinds of music.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up friends with a lot of saxophone players.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I ended up working with David Amram a
Mm.
lot, who exists,
Mhm.
I would say, primarily in the jazz world, but
Mhm.
he's a equally accomplished classical composer too, and just brilliant all around musician.
Mhm.
Um, and he encouraged me to think in other ways about that
Mhm.
kind of third stream. Like, can you pull elements from other genres
Mhm.
and make it a part of classical music? So I kept saying yes. I kept playing different things. I
Mhm.
kept saying yes to composers because I write new music. I think people need to hear new music. So it doesn't matter how experimental it is if it's on the score, right? It's my
Mhm.
job to do it.
Right.
And then that's made me who I am. And then somehow I ended up like later today I'm rehearsing. I don't even know if you call it rehearsing. I think it's practice
Mhm.
with a like blues country band.
Ooh.
that has
Wow.
recently started writing songs. I feel totally uncomfortable and I have no idea what I'm doing, legitimately.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I've got the guitar player that's yelling at me that I'm playing too much, and I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to learn the style.
Wow.
So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. I mean, that flexible attitude towards music, really helpful for composers and musicians who more, open mind to do more. I mean, yeah. So when I work with you, that flexibility really helps me to, open more, experimenting and, finding more possibility from piano. So that moment and that memory with you was really, memorable. And that's why you're like best pianist, for me ever so far,
we,
really.
we need to do the piece again.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's a great piece.
yeah.
Yeah.
So really, I really want people know who you are, really. So
Mm.
how
I appreciate that.
yeah, really, I have really sincere heart for you to be more, get attention and more get recognized in audience and composers and performers. So yeah, we do work
I
more.
appreciate that.
Yeah. So
And I'm not the most experimental composer in the world, and that's just not it's not my voice, um, as a composer. But I want to bring it to life, and I love
mm,
playing
yeah, yeah.
experimental music. That's the kind of interesting thing. Like I feel I can't write it,
Hmm.
just because it's not me, but
Hmm.
to play it
Hmm.
and to try and bring someone else's ideas to life, I love that
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, and you were the composer and you do conducting, so that's why you have so much, flexibility as a different role, and then that gives you composers be more liberal. So that's the another point. I really love to work with you too. So
Mm.
maybe people who don't know you, I really want them to know you about this
Yeah.
kind of flexibility and great, attitude and open-minded person. So yeah. So really, really, I'm lucky to meet you at Manus.
Oh, it was such a great time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. With same classmate and as a classmate and with the same teacher, like all of things we share common things, and it's really yeah, blessing. So you study with some remarkable teachers like the Bonaventure and Rosenbaum. What's the one lesson from each one of them that fundamentally changed how you approach music?
So Anthony de Bonaventura, I think, totally changed the way I played, and like he changed everything,
Mm.
um, for me. And I I don't think I can overstate the impact that he had on my musical thinking.
Uh-huh.
Um, I remember my first lesson going in, and I was playing Beethoven Opus 1, number 1. He's
Mm.
like, "Okay, show me the right hand." And I remember thinking, like, I'm in college. Why do I have to show you just the right hand
Mm.
of this piece? And I play the chord, and he just looks at me and he says, "That sounds terrible." And he's like,
Okay.
"Yeah." He says, "You've got way too much E flat. I
Mm.
can hardly hear the G,
Mm.
and the C is softer than the E flat." He's like, "At least I can hear it.
I
Ah,
see.
but
I
it's
see.
softer than that." And then he's like, "Realistically, between both hands, you're playing 7 notes. You need 7 different colors. You need 7
Mhm.
different dynamics
Mhm.
across those notes
Mhm.
to make it speak and to make it speak clearly." And then I realized, oh my gosh, I need to listen. I need to listen to everything, and I need to be patient,
Mm.
uh, because it's not something that can just change
Mhm.
instantly. It was just this constant like analysis of like, are you bringing the score to life faithfully, and is it actually sounding that way?
Mm.
And he was very much a proponent of saying like, do what's on the score, trust the composer because the composer knows.
Mm.
And I feel like that's become at least a part of how I initially interpret music is like,
Mhm.
how can I get, what's the closest way you can get to the composer? The closest way you can get to the composer, you can't talk to them, is to look at the score, because
Mm,
it's what we have.
mm,
Um, then Rosenbaum, not the polar opposite to Anthony de Bonaventura,
mhm,
but certainly opened my mind in new ways.
mhm,
Um, I think I took Professor de Bonaventura very literally.
mhm,
Um, all the time was very strict,
mhm,
and I don't want to say it made me narrow-minded, but I think it made me think that there was one way of playing, and Victor Rosenbaum opened up my mind
mhm,
to more possibilities and opened up my mind to be more flexible, to
mhm,
try new things, and just like sometimes it's okay if you meander a little bit in tempo, or
mhm,
sometimes it's okay if you take some time. And I think he really helped my music to breathe
mhm,
a little bit. Whereas the Bonaventura, it was precision
mhm.
and sound.
I see. So you start
Both brilliant mentors, sure.
right. So you start from piano first and then composition study later?
I started composing. Oh, I started composing by the time I was 9.
Oh, okay. So
I
like
just for but like little things that
I see, I
add
see.
basic harmonic progressions and
Uh-huh.
cadence chords, and
Uh-huh.
I would never show anyone that.
Ah. Okay, so that keeps in your mind, and then later you like, being like pianist and performers, like a
Yeah, yeah. And I composed through high school too, and started taking composition lessons in high school
okay,
as well,
right.
which essentially ended up being more harmony and counterpoint lessons.
Mm.
Anything else?
I mean, that's the foundation anyway.
Yeah, I needed it.
Right, right. That's true. Wow. So in the performance side, so you performed with orchestra across the continents and in intimate chamber settings. How do you adapt your musical communication across these different ensemble contexts?
That's interesting. Um,
Uh-huh.
it's it's hard.
Yeah.
Because hmm, every role you play as a pianist is totally different.
Right.
Um, whether it's soloist in front of orchestra, chamber musician, soloist, orchestra player in the back of the orchestra playing a piano part, it's
Mm-hmm.
all it's all related to the piano. And I think I've kind of felt um, I felt for a long time
Mm-hmm.
that a pianist should be able to fill any of those roles. And a pianist is stronger by being able to fill any of those roles.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, so I don't know that I fundamentally approach them differently.
Mm-hmm.
I just try to listen to everything that's going on around me and fit into it the way that it needs to be fit into. If you're alone, there's nothing else to listen to,
Mm-hmm.
um, which I find a little bit terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're playing with two other people, you've got two other people's ideas that are happening in real time that you can react to. If you're playing with an orchestra, you've got a conductor, you've got the whole ensemble to react to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I view piano as a collaborative instrument
Mm-hmm.
primarily. Even when I'm playing by myself, I think it's essentially you're bringing to life the collaboration between voices
Mm-hmm.
um, at the instrument. So there's always this constant give and take between voices
Mm-hmm.
at the instrument, and I think just being open to that collaboration and being willing to go whatever direction it
Mm-hmm.
wants to
Mm-hmm.
go kind of helps me to navigate the
Mm-hmm.
differences in those ensembles.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I hope
So
that answers the question.
yeah, of course. So what draws you to collaborative music making? There's just something about the way you approach ensemble work that seems particularly intentional.
What caused me to collaborate initially? You mean, or
Yeah. What draws you to
you know,
collaborate?
oh, draws me,
Yeah,
draw.
yeah, yeah. What
Uh,
draws you? Yeah.
uh, so I don't. It's fun. I mean, it's a simple answer,
Right.
but
Why?
it's just fun.
Right.
Because like imagine you're a solo pianist. You could be
Right.
sitting alone in a room for 4 or 5 hours a day practicing the same repertoire to make sure you
Mm-hmm.
don't mess up.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a collaborative pianist, you get to hang out with someone. You get to
Right.
go on stage with someone.
Right.
And like the people that I play with, they're my closest friends
Mm.
too. And like it's fantastic. I just it's funny that like I really think it is the fun aspect because the other night, 2 nights ago,
Mm-hmm.
um, a student had graduated from Curtis, Sarah
Mm-hmm.
Fleiss,
Mm-hmm.
that I had never worked with. She was in my keyboard class once,
Mm-hmm.
and that was 6 years ago.
Wow.
So,
All right.
and then just after she had graduated, another composer, Alistair Coleman, decided to say, you just should read some songs together. And we got together, we read some songs together, we did some Schumann, and it was just like, this is the most fun
Right.
thing that I can imagine doing in an evening. It's just like sitting there reading songs and
Uh-huh.
having fun. And hopefully we're going to perform in 2026, the
Uh-huh.
same set. And I think that's how it happens.
Right, right. Yeah.
You hang out.
Right. You telling, people like very good point. Fun for collaboration.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Simple and very impactful. Wow. So like you, many musicians specialize in one area, but you embraced multiple roles, as I mentioned before. So, can you trace that evolution for me? When did you first feel the pull towards composing and conducting?
Hmm. Uh, so when I was little,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to play piano,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw the pieces, and I was like, I think I can write music too.
Ooh.
Um, and- which was a very bold statement for an 8-year-old to look at
Mm-hmm.
music and say, yeah, I can do this.
Oh, what a smart genius.
I don't. I'm naive. I think it is the word. Um, but then as I grew up, I was like, oh, I really love the sound of an orchestra. And somehow I got involved in choirs, and I started doing some directing for choirs when I was in high school
Mm-hmm.
as well. And that gave me a little bit of inducting experience, or just working with an ensemble in that capacity. Um, and then I went to college, and even applying to college, I was like, I want to be able to play piano, and I want to be able to compose,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to be able to do both of them. I was
Mm-hmm.
actually discouraged when I showed up at BU
Mm.
um, to do the double major, and I said,
Right.
I was told at the beginning, they're like, it's going to take you 5 years to
Ah.
do it, and I'm like, that's not an option. I can't afford to do 5 years
Mm.
um, of this. It costs too much. And so I wrote out a map of like how I could do it in 4 years.
Okay.
And I was like, this is what's going to happen, and it has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I rolled with that. Then I went to my master's, and people were like, yeah, you maybe want to think about specializing. I'm
Okay.
like, no, I think there are some places that let you do both.
Uh-huh.
Manus was one of those places.
Uh-huh. Right.
Like I could major in piano, major in composition.
Uh-huh.
And I no matter whenever I heard someone say to specialize, I said, I don't think that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I can't imagine life without playing. I can't imagine life without composing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, and I think both of them have informed the other more than I really can possibly imagine. It's like, even in composition lessons, I'm learning about playing the piano.
Mm-hmm.
In piano lessons, I'm learning about composing.
That's right.
It's this constant dialogue
Mm-hmm.
that's going on because it's all related.
Right. Could you share a little bit more about, as a double major at BU and Manus? Could you tell me more about those information?
Yeah. So it gave me sort of, I think, the best of everything.
Mm.
Um, because what I found um, is that performance-based degrees
Mm-hmm.
uh, drive you obviously towards more
Sure.
performance-related content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Composition degrees drive you more towards academic content,
Sure.
and being able to really understand the structure of music and being able to understand everything. So,
Mm.
for instance, as a pianist, you could potentially go through school without taking a course on fugue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as a composer, you're not getting through school without taking a course on fugue.
Mm.
Um, and I mean, obviously that helps you at the piano.
Sure.
And like writing music, I think writing music in the style of other composers,
Mm-hmm.
like Martin Hamlin taught. Does he still teach tonal composition?
Yes.
That's a fantastic course. I
Yeah.
love that course so much.
I see.
And it's like, but it teaches you how to write in everybody's style, and then it
Right.
comes to life.
Right.
It's
That's true.
like, as a pianist, why wouldn't you want to do that? As any musician, why wouldn't you want to do that? Is the question for me. But I also think that performance and creation should be linked to one another.
Mm.
It's part of being a musician.
Right.
That
Right.
if we're performing, we should be able to create,
Mm.
and if we're creating, why
Mm-hmm.
not let it? Why
Mm-hmm.
not make sounds?
Right.
It's fun.
Right. So
It's all fun.
right. So did you prepare like two different auditions or how does it work?
Yeah, so I had to send in scores. I don't think BU had an interview then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I had to send in scores for the composition program. I had to go and audition
Mm-hmm.
for piano.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then at Manus, same thing, played a piano audition,
Mm-hmm.
full like I was doing a piano major, and then
Sure.
composition interview like I was
Sure.
going to be a composition major.
Yeah.
I don't even know that it said, like, I don't even know that the faculty knew that I was applying to both.
Mm, I see, I see. So they might not share the
No,
information about you.
right.
I
And I
see.
know, like, when I was at BU, when I first got to BU, I told my teachers and that kind of thing. Anthony Bonaventura passed away, and then I ended up with a
Mm,
different teacher my
mm,
last year.
mhm.
And I actually didn't tell him I was a double major
Ah,
because by that point I was starting to get worried that people were thinking like, oh, he's a composition major. He doesn't need to play piano as well,
ah,
or
okay.
things like that. So I was like, maybe I don't want everybody to know
Mm,
I'm doing both
mm,
because people push that specialization,
I see.
which I found out later was probably the wrong way of thinking about it because he was like, oh, I found out you were a composer. I would have expected more out of you.
Wow.
I'm like,
Oh, I
I
see.
like that. I like that line of
Uh-huh.
thinking. Like,
Uh-huh.
expect the most.
Uh-huh. Wow. Then what about the conducting? So you just take the class or how does that work?
I took classes. I always wanted to do it.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then I put myself in front of an orchestra at BU. There was some
Right.
festival that happened. They had to recruit people
Ah.
for it, and I think it went pretty terribly the first engagement. But it was the beginning, and I absolutely love it.
Mm,
And I ended up. It was sort of, I guess, on hold when I was at Manus.
mm,
I ended up doing a little bit more recently
mhm,
in Philadelphia with Voices.
uh-huh,
Um, I've ended up not pursuing that as much.
mhm,
I'd fooled around the idea of starting a orchestra in the area,
mhm,
but then just things end up so busy that I haven't been able to dedicate as much time to it recently as I would like.
mhm.
Um, but I've got this dream of being on the podium, um, which
Sure.
I think is why I love score reading so much. I just love the repertoire.
Oh my gosh, you bring me score reading class. That was one of my favorite classes at Mathis. Very, very enjoyable.
It's why I started teaching it.
Yeah.
It's as an elective at Curtis because
Yeah.
they didn't have an elective for non keyboardists in score reading. I was
Oh,
like, everybody
okay.
should be doing score reading.
Oh, okay.
It's
So you were the
I think
first person to teach for score reading at Curtis?
for non-keyboard.
Non-keyboardist. Wow. Okay.
But
Wow.
I teach the score reading class for pianists
Right.
as well.
Right.
Since Robert left Curtis a
Ah.
while ago.
Right, right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, your sights reading is amazing. So I still vividly remember that. And I really enjoy all this, peers performing in class and the fact that Cookson and the repertoire of the
I structure it the same way as Robert Cookson. I think it was
Nice.
a great class.
That
I just
works.
wish I had.
Uh-huh.
I only have a semester. I don't have a whole year. Um, so I can do 3 weeks of Wagner where we sing, but
Ah.
I wish I could.
Right, but Wagner is so hard.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's crazy, crazy piece I ever done with piano.
Uh,
So, aside from the questions, so the students you teach for score reading, they did good?
they do a great job. The class that I'm speaking about is an elective class for non keyboardists.
Mhm.
And they really do a. I mean, they study piano when they're at Curtis, and they do a good job pulling it together. So sometimes slow, but they come in with varying levels of
Right, right. So
um, mechanics.
Mhm.
But they they realize the score might be a small chunk. It's not
Right,
like
right,
it's not like bring in the exposition for next week.
right. Yeah.
It's bring in 8 to 12 bars, and we'll talk
Mhm.
about how to
Sure, sure.
work on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting here that, non majors, did you say non majors who can take the class?
Non keyboard.
Non
So like
keyboard major, yeah.
so like a trumpet player or a
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
violinist, or
Yeah. Wow. So that's
which I
interesting.
think it's very important for them
Right.
because they're going to play in an orchestra one day.
Yeah,
If you want to
yeah.
be able to read the score,
Yeah, that's why I
or
was
they're going to coach chamber music.
sure. So that's why, you have the education background of score reading, then you have much more, ability to adapt all the situations, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I make a joke in the first class like all the time. I was like, "Here's a class to teach you how to read music,"
I mean, that's true.
and it's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah, right. Wow. So anyone can take the class, right? Like elective.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because
It's open to everyone.
you never know, maybe more Korean students in your class.
Oh, I had plenty of Korean students
Oh
this
yeah, already.
year. Oh yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's amazing. Because Curtis Institute, very famous in Korea as well. So anyone who wants to be a musician, that's one of the dream schools.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great school.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. This really, really one of the best music schools. Maybe some transition from pianist to composers and conductor. Um, was there a moment when you realized there weren't separate careers, but part of a unified artistic vision?
Uh, I don't I don't know. I don't think I ever thought of them as separate careers.
Mm.
Um, because I think over time I was encouraged, like, oh, you should do one, you should do the other, or you should go this
Mm.
direction. But I kind of like ignored everyone. And I think that I don't know that it was because I thought I could do everything. I think I was just a little bit naive.
Mm.
Um, and I mean I think like uh my grandmother was an organist.
Mhm.
That wasn't her main thing. Otherwise, my family didn't really know much about the music world at all
Mm.
when I started doing this thing. And they're like, "Yeah, go do music. they were incredibly supportive,
Mm-hmm.
but just didn't didn't know the world.
Mm.
And I don't know, maybe if I knew the world better,
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought I had to specialize more.
Mm.
But I think just because I didn't know the world, and you look up people, and like I said, I accompanied West Side Story. So who's one of the first people I come across? Leonard Bernstein.
Mm.
Well, he's doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like, that seems like what you're supposed to do.
Mm.
So I just kept to it there. But I don't think I thought it's all one thing. I think I just kept reaffirming
Mm.
that belief.
Mm. Right, right. Yeah. Do you have any like advice people who, you know, have a similar career as you?
Do a little bit of everything and keep doing a little bit of everything. Um, it's I was actually in a meeting the other day that came up because and someone brought up the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Ah.
Uh,
Okay.
and it's sort of like, I think that's an apt description
Mm-hmm.
of it, because if you can be everything and you can practice everything, and that doesn't mean you're going to be an expert in everything,
Mm. Mm.
because I'm sure I'm not. Um, it's just trying to get better in each discipline,
Mm.
um, to become a more complete musician, and to try and get closer to thinking about, to realizing what makes music interesting, what makes it enjoyable. And
Mm-hmm.
it really is a little bit of everything. It's like you're playing, you're composing,
Mm-hmm.
you're you're studying, like, what's the current thought about music? What's the theory behind it? What
Mm.
makes what's consonance, what's dissonance?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the questions that keep you up in the middle of the night, because have we really answered them?
Mm.
Um, I don't I don't know. Or have we figured out a real theory behind music? I don't know that we totally have. We teach the basics of music. We teach what builds it up. We teach what builds up tonality.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, still, what makes music music? It's exciting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so and I think through playing, through composing, through conducting, through just trying to live music as fully as possible,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the advice, to try and do a little bit of everything.
Sure.
Don't forget to do a little bit of other stuff too, like watch Star Wars from time to time. Too, it's good stuff.
Very important. Wow, that's great advice. That's really great.
And play a sport at some point too.
Sure, that's yeah. So I see you run these days, right?
Mhm.
So how did
Yeah.
you what made you to start running?
A friend was staying with me, a trombonist,
Ah.
Britt Lash, phenomenal trombonist, teaches at Indiana, and
Uh-huh.
really brilliant all around musician, really into new music, um, and great performer. Uh, Runs marathons
Mm-hmm.
in her free time, and she was like, "You should sign up for a half marathon."
Mm.
I'm like, "Okay," and then I kind of ignored it at first, and then I'm laying there awake, and I'm thinking, you know, I bet I could run a half marathon. It's
Mm-hmm.
only 13 miles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now keep in mind that this is someone that has never run before.
Mm, okay.
Maybe like once or twice, but and like when I was forced to run a mile in middle school. But I'm laying there like, yeah, I could run 13 miles. Again, it's probably that naive thing that got me into music to begin with. And and then I'm sitting there, well, if I can run 13 miles, what if I'm not tired? I can run 26.
Mm.
So I just signed up for the Philly Marathon 6 months
Mm.
out,
Wow.
having not really run at all,
Wow.
and then started training the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, obviously, I'm not a fast runner.
Mm.
Um, I'm in it to try and improve myself a little bit. It's like a almost daily.
Mm-hmm.
daily grind. It's like playing. And
Sure.
I found at the end of that run, it was the closest feeling to performing.
Mm-hmm.
Like crossing the finish line was the closest feeling to performing that I've ever found.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and thought that was pretty cool.
Right, right.
And just the things you learn, I think in particular running, like
Mm-hmm.
if you go 26 miles, it's like without giving up
Mm-hmm.
because it's the second you start, you're like, I could just stop and walk away. It's the same when you're playing a 40-minute Schubert sonata,
Mm-hmm.
the same like struggle that's going on in your mind. Should
Right.
I just stand up and walk away?
Right.
And the answer is no, we can do hard things.
Yeah. So what
You
happens
just
to
got to keep
challenge?
going. Yeah, absolutely. Forward is a pace.
Right.
So
Wow.
that's
So of course it's physical exercise helps mental side, right? That's very important part because me myself not really exercise much. So today we Mu and I talked about the running stuff. What a coincidence. But then
yeah.
yeah. I should do
It
more.
helped. And I think that's honestly why I didn't stop
Mm.
after one. It was because I felt like my mind was clear
Mm.
because of the running. And
Right.
I felt like I was more consistent at the piano because of it.
Wow.
And when I noticed that, I was like, I don't want to compromise. I don't want to compromise my playing. So
Mm. Sure. Wow. That's very, very, I mean, the most important advice you ever given. Wow. I mean, I don't know how many musicians can have like daily exercise in their lives, including.
it's impossible.
Yeah, right. So
It
that's
really is
why.
impossible.
Right.
And I miss I certainly miss days or concerts come up or periods where I'm busy and it's like it just stops. And
Right.
then I start to feel a little bit sluggish and like
Right.
less happy. And
Right.
I know why it is, but sometimes you're just
Mm.
it's too much. But you know that you're gonna get back into it and you know that you can,
Right.
I think.
Right. That's true. Wow. Amazing. Yeah. One day I try half marathon, maybe.
Do it. Sign
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince myself to sign up for Ocean City in New
Oh,
Jersey in
oh
September.
wow.
So if you sign up,
Yeah.
I'll potentially be there.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Good
I've got Philly full in November, but
Aha.
Ocean City if you sign up, I promise I'll sign up.
Sure. I'll let you know.
Hmm.
Um, so and you founding a group of ensemble, like could you tell me about founding the collaborative piano fellowship? What gap were you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm, the the collaborative piano fellowship. I'm so excited about it. It's in its second year at
Ah,
BUTI now, and
ah.
it's going to start in 2 weeks.
Oh,
I've got three pianists coming.
uh-huh.
Um, you might know two of them
Who?
because they're at BU. Youngjin Kim
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and Cheong Min.
최영민, 영민.
Cheong
최영. Last name is Min?
Min.
Min. Maybe I heard, but Youngjin, sure I know. I close to her. Oh, okay. So two of them are Korean pianists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
and they're both BU people.
Right. Yeah. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's right. Wow.
And Youngjin was a Mattis person.
Sure, sure. Yeah. Wow. What an amazing alumni.
A small world. But I'm so excited for it because it gives um, particularly people that have had more solo experience
Mhm,
and just probably spent their life doing degrees in
mhm,
solo performance.
mhm,
It gives them that opportunity to go and do some collaborative
mhm,
playing, right?
mhm,
I think it's an important part of every pianist's life to collaborate,
mhm,
and and I think I think like every soloist is capable of collaborating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they certainly have the fingers
Mm-hmm.
to be able to do it, like the technique and the
Right.
ability. So I just love that it gives the experience to open up into that world a little bit more so they can do more of that everything everywhere
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
It's like you're not just a soloist.
Mm-hmm.
You're a pianist that can do anything and
Mm-hmm.
you can fill any role. And it gives
Mm-hmm.
people experience playing within an orchestra. It gives them experience playing
Right.
chamber music. It gives them experience
Right.
and accompanying. It gives them
Mm-hmm.
experience coaching high school students
Right.
in repertoire. So it gives a teaching aspect
Mm-hmm.
as well. And that's the goal of the program.
Wow.
Uh, I'm so thankful that Nicole Wendell and Ashley Moore have confidence in this program, and
Mm-hmm.
BUTI has a confidence in this program and supports this program
Nice.
to exist.
Wow.
Because I don't think I'd be the musician I was if I didn't start accompanying at BUTI when I did.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I stayed there in that capacity, just accompanying for 11 years.
Mm.
Uh, and I want more people to feel like
Mm.
they can play with people. And then at the same time, I want like pianists to be able to get staff piano jobs places.
Right.
Not when even if they just have solo performance degrees,
Mm-hmm.
now all of a sudden they did a collaborative piano fellowship. Great.
Okay. Right. So do you searching for more pianists in your the fellowship?
I can take 3 every year.
Oh, okay.
So so and I try and vary it so every year would be different people.
Sure.
Just to give more experience.
So what's the if be in the fellowship, so what they're gonna get the benefit from the fellowship?
So they get the experience accompanying really excellent high school students.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to know the repertoire much
Mm-hmm.
better. They
Mm-hmm.
get to know a variety of repertoire. They get to know really a variety of how to accompany. Like I make sure people accompany a little bit of double bass. Make
Mm.
sure people accompany like oboe. They're very
Sure.
different to play with one another.
Yeah.
And it's all about listening, I think,
Mm.
and being able to hear it clearly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, like a double bass speaks very differently than an oboe speaks.
Wow.
So it really develops the ear in that way. Beyond that, if they don't have orchestra playing experience, they get a little bit of that. They get
Nice.
experience playing in the wind ensemble. And then there are classes as well, so they get
Mm-hmm.
lessons and get coached in
Right.
those.
Mm-hmm.
And I try and gear like topics of classes towards different things. So like I make them do a lot of score reading
Oh, nice.
when they're there actually, because you can make a lot of money score reading, believe it or not. Like
Really?
like conducting classes need score readers,
Ah,
right? Because
yes.
it's expensive to bring in an orchestra, but if you
Right.
can bring in a quartet and a pianist,
Right.
it's a little bit cheaper. But the pianist is making a lot of money,
Right. Oh,
um,
great tip.
which is very cool.
Uh-huh.
So it's like all of these skills that seem like they're kind of thrown together.
Mm,
At some point, they really have
nice.
potential.
Right,
And
right.
same thing, I make them do figured bass because what if you're handed a continuo part
Mm-hmm.
and asked to play it?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You should be able to play it.
Sure.
Um, and I mean, it all goes down to I've said music is fun. You also need to make yourself marketable. Uh,
Right. Right.
uh, and if you can read figure bass, if you can read a continuo part, you're more valuable
Sure. Right.
because all of a sudden, if that doesn't exist in a reduction, you can
Mm,
still play it.
mm.
Um, Same thing we do today, like reading jazz charts.
Right.
What if someone hands you a jazz chart? Can you
Right.
play it?
Right.
It's it's all part of the job
Right.
of being a pianist, I think. So
Yeah, yeah. Very nice fellowship program because,
yeah, they don't know they're playing jazz yet. I did tell
right, right. Yeah. So somebody who wants to apply the program, they contact you. How does it work?
It goes through BUTI.
Oh, okay.
So BUTI posts the employment information.
Okay.
It's a fellowship program. It is paid
Uh-huh.
as well.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and it gives you 6 weeks out in the Berkshires.
Mm-hmm.
We're all set for this summer with the program, but the application usually goes up in January.
Sure. Okay. That is great, great, great information for the pianist. Great, great. So, wh- what gap were you trying to fill in musical education, aside the this BUTI stuff?
You mean in general in my teaching,
Yeah,
or yeah?
general. Yeah.
Um, I I think the mechanics of music are really important to developing an interpretation
Mm,
and knowing what's going on musically. So I think I fundamentally believe that one of the most important things we can do
mm,
is study species counterpoint, um, and just try and get a sense of how lines of music are put together.
mm,
Um, because it gives you a sense of what consonance is. It gives you a sense of more what dissonance is. It gives you a sense of how the ear, I think, naturally hears those two structures,
mm,
uh, and hears them interacting with one another. And ultimately, I think the goal of really intense species counterpoint study
mhm,
is to open up the ear as much as possible,
mm,
so it can hear, so it can hear function, so it can hear direction, so it can hear everything.
mhm,
Um, Now, so many composers write in a style that is very different than that.
mm,
Um, but the same principles that happen, the same ideas of consonance and dissonance, tension and release
mhm,
and direction, I think are present in every kind of music
mhm,
that we hear. And to kind of study that microcosm
mhm,
of how lines interact with one another, I
mhm,
think it can be applied to everything that we do. And I worry sometimes that there is that gap
mm,
in musical training, that
mm,
it, it it's easy. And I don't even know that it's easy for it to be a gap. I think it's just easy for it to not be taken seriously,
mm,
um, or to be viewed as like archaic or unimportant.
mm,
Uh, but I do think the fundamentals and just developing the ear,
mm.
um, developing the idea of creating a line, what makes a good line, and just talking about
Right.
those mechanics, I think it informs everything. So that's the gap that I hope to fill, or I hope to inspire people to want to pursue that knowledge a little bit more. It's
Mm,
sort of like it's like exercising.
mhm,
It's the exercising for the ear,
mm,
I guess.
right.
Bill Needleman was great at that. Did you ever take a class with Bill Needleman?
Middleman. I don't think so.
He taught solfege at Manus.
Oh, because I don't have to.
Yeah.
It wasn't mandatory and my credit was already full. So I
Oh,
yeah. And you know what? You remind me the audition days. So I took the all the oral skills test.
yeah.
I was one of the last person left.
Mm, mm.
So, Manas has a record of me. Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
So you were fine.
yeah. So
Bill Needleman tortured me a little bit, and I love him for it. And I
uh-huh.
haven't spoken to him since then, but
I heard. Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant man.
Right.
Um,
He's still teaching there?
no, he retired.
Ah.
He retired, I think, when they moved downtown.
Ah, okay. Got you. He's very like challenging person, but I know he's really good teaching it, the oral
Yeah.
this stuff. Yeah. I
Yeah.
yeah, I know that. Wow. So as a composer, when you're composing, how much does your background in analysis counterpoint concisely inform your creative process?
Hmm. So I think it all informs it.
Mhm.
I don't sit there and think like, oh, I need to have good counterpoint, or I need to have something that makes sense here. I think it's more a subconscious kind of thing, just thinking like, oh, how are these lines working together? How's all this functioning? Is all there, and it sort of guides the pencil in a way that you might expect it to go. I'm not sitting there thinking like, don't write parallel fifths. In fact, I write parallel fifths all the time.
Right.
Um, they sound good. It's like, um, but they sound good, but they create a certain
Mm,
effect.
mm, right.
Music that I find personally attractive in my own music, but
Mm.
it doesn't follow stylistic trends from an earlier time. So
Great, great. So you've premiered works by composers like David Amram and Rina Esmail. What
yes,
it like to bring a piece to life for the first time?
it's the best.
Yeah.
It's,
Could
yeah,
could you
yeah,
could you?
because I'll say more.
Okay, sure.
It's when you're bringing a piece of music to life the first time, you're like the first person that gets to hear it, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And usually the composer, I mean, they're even hearing it probably after you.
Right.
And you get this opportunity to just explore these sounds and explore a work that no
Right.
one's heard before.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. And then usually you get the opportunity to collaborate with that
Mm-hmm.
composer
Mm-hmm.
and bring it to life the way they want it. And that's always my goal when I'm working with the composer, is like, what are you envisioning here?
Mm.
Um, because I think one of the most important things,
Mm.
and this actually goes back to Bonaventura,
Mm.
um, and an important thing about being a pianist is that you don't really want, and I don't think I really want someone to come up and say, wow, um, you sounded great tonight. I mean, it feels great for someone to come up
Mm-hmm.
and say that. Don't get me wrong. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, who doesn't want that?
Right.
But it's better like, oh, I love that Schumann. I love that piece that David Loeb wrote. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because then all of a sudden you're kind of out of the equation
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. And it means you were speaking, the piece was speaking to the audience.
Right.
Music's a little bit weird in that way, right? Because you have the creator and you have the person that's getting the experience, the
Mm-hmm.
audience member,
Mm-hmm.
but it always goes through that vehicle in the middle that's the performer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like the goal is to be kind of just something that can pass that on directly.
Right, right. Wow. I mean,
Which means if you're premiering the piece, hopefully you're able to talk to the composer
oh yeah,
and get
sure.
closer to what they want.
Right, right. Yeah. So I mean, being a, multi-role is really kind of blessing to me because it's like you. I mean, that I also, used to play piano and did the advanced level, but I kind of don't enjoy playing on the stage sometimes. So probably I just not really focus on performance, but more focusing on composing by myself. So, seeing like you do like performer composer, aspect is, learn so much and, inspiring so much. So um yeah, that's because nowadays a lot of composers also do like at least two roles like performer composers, right? So
Right.
yeah, so the audience maybe has like a multi-role musicians, so probably this conversation very helpful for them to hear your story and how you manage all these different roles like educator, performer, collaborator, like composer, right? All these things is really, really amazing.
It's like I said, it's a lot of fun.
Right.
And I think the most exciting thing is that it feels like you're constantly learning.
Mm.
Um, and that's sort of, I think that's my approach to playing a lot of different music. So I just kept saying yes.
Yeah.
Um, and why not? I mean, if it fits with my schedule
Mhm.
and it's with people I like,
Mhm.
then why not play? Why
Right.
not write? Why not try and do something?
Right, right. That's so true. Um, people should really listen to this point and, do something their own like you. I really hope, all this conversation is really, powerful to any, who really, do something in music community. Um
Yeah. You can do everything. That's the biggest advice. Like don't listen to the people that say you can't because we can.
Right, right, right. That's
It makes it better. It makes it
right,
better.
right. That's so true. Um, so I have more questions, like role of educator at
Okay.
Curtis and BUTI. So you teach both in a wonderful institution. How do these different educational environments shape your approach to teaching?
Um, it's I showed up and I started teaching, and I'm sure I didn't know what I was doing when I started teaching, but it's like this constant. What I love about Curtis in particular is that there's this constant sense of inspiration. I get it from the students. They come into class and it's like you're talking about music and you're trying to figure out what makes music, and you're talking about counterpoint, you're talking about harmony. Why do we love this so much? And they're fantastic musicians, and just the conversations are enjoyable. Um, and I think being present in a place where people are dedicated to music and people really want to get closer to it, I think it informs me as an artist as well, because then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I need to practice. Oh, I didn't think about this piece that way. Maybe I should. Um, and because everybody brings their own background into one of these classes, and I only bring my own background, um, which might have more experience than someone that hasn't spent time analyzing, hasn't spent time studying as long. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't new perspectives to be found. So I love the opportunity to have conversations, to explore music, and to try and pull together a educational environment where everybody's learning, myself included. Uh, because I don't think anyone knows all the answers.
Right.
And if they think they do, then I don't know. I don't want to study with them.
So I noticed that you have influence of mentors like Schuller and Adler were significant influences. So how did their approaches to you, music and composition philosophy shape your own artistic voice?
Sure. So I hardly worked with Schuler. I only had
Mhm.
a lesson or two with him.
Yeah.
But Adler, I worked with a little bit longer, and I think both of them were very encouraging to me, which
Mm,
meant a great deal at the time because it meant I wasn't doing something
mm,
silly. Um, but I think Adler in particular um, encouraged me to hone my craft from a more disciplined
mm,
aspect. I remember his first assignment was writing 10 melodies using only 3 intervals each, which
mm,
was like kind of rigid,
mm,
but it it helped me to craft my ideas a little bit more.
mm,
And he spoke to me a lot about pacing
mm,
um, in music, which I think was very helpful for me. So I think just being around those two was very helpful. Um, And I actually, with the trombones that got me into marathons, we recorded one of Sam Adler's pieces on an
oh,
album that just came out a couple weeks ago.
oh
And,
wow.
uh, and so it's been nice to have him as a part of my musical life, a little bit more distanced, but no, he's still an important influence to me, I think.
Right. Wow. So he's still teaching at
He's not teaching anymore. He lives outside of Bowling Green, Ohio,
Right.
because his wife teaches conducting in Bowling Green.
Ah, okay. Got
He's
it.
retired,
Right, right.
still writing.
Oh, okay. He's actually one of my teachers from Korea s-
Mm,
who study with him. So
he's studying with it.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So and he's of course one of the like major figure.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
such a great orchestration book, too.
yeah, yeah. That's so true. Still,
And
Korea.
Al Blotter, who's also a fantastic guy, a guy that I got to know rather well.
Yeah.
But and also is a mentor for being able to do other things, because this is a totally random tidbit. By
Mhm,
Al Blotter, that
mhm.
wrote the orchestration book, writes like musicals in his free time,
Ah, really?
which
Ah.
is very, very interesting and
Uh-huh.
very good music.
Oh, wow. Do you have any plan for writing or, composing in the future?
Writing musicals
Or
or
writing?
writing. What am I writing next?
Yeah, or like a essay or music writing or whichever.
Oh, right, writing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I do. Um, that's the most confident I've ever been in replying to that
Oh,
question.
okay.
Um, I would like to write a book, and I don't know the direction that I'm going to go entirely yet. I've
Okay.
been thinking about it a lot, and I counterpoint's one of my loves,
Hmm.
and one of the things that I find I think counterpoint's all about putting two things together, two or more things together,
Yeah.
and finding something that is greater than those two things.
Hmm.
So my curiosity is more in how a survey of other aspects of music, not just pitch,
Hmm.
can be put together
Hmm.
in a contrapuntal way.
Hmm.
And I don't know where that pursuit's going to take me. I don't know when I'm going to have time
Hmm.
to do it.
Hmm.
Um, but like rhythmical counterpoint's something that gets discussed. Or
Hmm.
like, what happens when you put two textures together? What happens when you put um, how what kind of dynamic counterpoint is there in
Mm,
composition?
mm,
And I'm curious. I'm curious if there are principles that can be found that
mhm,
way.
mhm.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. So,
I see.
and I'm sure I'll just uncover more questions than anything else.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. Interesting. Hmm. So, I think I have two more questions. Will be okay for you?
yeah, 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 yeah. We're okay.
Okay, great. So as you look ahead, what artistic territories do you still want to explore? What feels unfinished or unexplored in your work?
Hmm. That's another top question. I think I feel like I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. So
Mhm,
it's like there's I'm sure pathways that are going to open up that I'm not anticipating,
mhm,
like this blues band that I'm suddenly finding myself playing in. It's like another challenge to do something else. I'd love to spend more time conducting. Um, I'd love to I'd love to be able to spend more time writing.
mhm,
Sometimes I find that the playing
mhm,
takes over a little bit more.
mhm,
Um, I've got album projects that I really want to do. I've got commissioning that I
mhm,
really want to do, but it's
mhm.
like I need to find the time to find the money to make the commissions
Right.
happen and that kind of thing.
Mhm,
So there are all these like projects and ideas that I have for projects and
mhm,
albums and concerts and
mhm,
all of that sort of stuff. But it's just it's time.
mhm,
Uh that's it's tough to find to dedicate towards everything. So I don't know that it's necessarily new artistic territories, but
mhm,
just like playing more music with more people that I love
mhm.
is what I want to do, and I want to keep doing that. Um,
Amazing.
which is exciting because I get to meet new students every year and I get to play with them
Right.
too. So it's and every time you approach a piece, it's different.
Right.
So
Right.
It gets more and more exciting every year.
Right. So once you plan the project, how do you get the fund?
I look around, start looking at grant
Mm,
possibilities, start
mm,
talking to other people that might be interested,
mm.
and
As a sponsor,
say
so
a
donor.
prayer, and
Prayer.
and then look at my bank account and say, okay, how much can I float?
Maybe all the musicians is the same situation.
Yeah, yeah. We work so that we can do the projects, right? I
Yeah.
mean, what's it's you have private teaching or you have other stuff, and it's like, okay, you can start to accumulate something and say,
Right.
I can fund an album at
Mm,
this point.
mm,
Of course, if your HVAC system goes and you have to buy a new air conditioner,
mm.
I had an air conditioner installed yesterday. That puts things on hold. So all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I was planning on recording an album, not planning on recording an album for a little bit longer. It's
That's
life.
true.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe this will be the last questions for you today. What's the most important thing you wish someone had told you when you were starting your professional career?
Um, hmm, no.
It makes you think, right?
It makes me think because my initial reaction is that it would have been nice to have someone say, yeah, you can do everything.
Mm,
Um, but part of me wonders if that I just was trying to prove people wrong
right.
at the time and just kept going. Um, I I I think I had a lot of people that were very encouraging
Mm,
um, along the way, and I think that's the most important thing for anyone to hear at the beginning of their career is
mm,
just that encouragement that it's going to be okay, and that there is a place for you in the music world. Uh,
mm,
you might not know what that place is. It might be hard to find that place. It might take a long time, um, but there is a place, I think, for everyone um, that's that's really dedicated and really willing to put in the work um, to make it. And I think that that's the other aspect that people told me, and I was appreciative of it. That it's a lot of hard work. Um, it's I think outside of music, music majors probably have the vision of it being easy or something like that. Uh, and I think you can probably float through and get a music degree without working hard. Um, but that's not the point,
right, right.
right? The point is to improve yourself as much as possible, and that's a constant that's a constant battle. There's always someone else practicing.
Right.
Is the I don't know that a teacher ever said that, but my friends said that to each other. And I had a friend group, especially at BU, that was very good about keeping ourselves in check about what we were doing and how dedicated we were being.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
that dedication goes a long way.
Right.
So
I mean, you
keep
mentioned
going would
right,
be the best thing.
right. That's very good point because sometimes just your friends or peers, gives more influence than your teachers.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Inspired.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you feel like you hit a wall, I mean, you hit a wall at mile 20 of a marathon too,
Right.
and there's still 6 miles to go, and then you feel great
Yeah.
because it's over. But
Right.
every mile is not the same. It's the same in music. I think every year's not the same.
Right. Right.
This is going to sound cliche. A career is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's
Right. That's so true. Now you like
and we're still in the beginning of it.
right, right, yeah.
We're
So, are you happy and satisfied? in these days?
I am. I'm so thankful for how
Very
everything
nice.
is, how everything's turned out. I'm happy. I love my students. I love my colleagues.
Yeah.
Um, and every day's a little bit different.
Mm.
So it
Nice.
keeps everything exciting.
Right. Yeah. That's so true. Do you have any like certain tips who wants to go to Manus, BU or Curtis? How they
Tips.
prepare? Yeah. Like in composition major or piano major?
Get a teacher that you trust.
Yeah.
Um, that's that's the most important thing. Like have a teacher that you really trust,
Okay.
because it's hard.
Right.
Um, and and if you have someone that you can rely on to teach you the ropes of how everything's going to go down, that's great. I don't think there's a shortcut.
Mm.
So it's having that constant feedback and having that um, background is good. I mean, and now so many places are looking for like, I don't know how I got into school. Was when I was a high schooler applying to school, like it's so much harder now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm 16 years out of high school. I think I saw on Facebook like yesterday, and in that short period of time, it's like now all of a sudden you need multiple performances of your pieces. You
Mm.
need like a high quality recording of your pieces.
Oh
You
wow.
need your score, and the music that people are writing is like really
Wow.
really fantastic music. I have a student of mine, Serrano Rosentrader.
Mm-hmm.
He was a high school student. He just got into Juilliard with the
Mm-hmm.
Kovner.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the music he's writing is extraordinary.
Mm.
I'm like, and he's in high school,
Yeah.
and he's got performances. He's got a whole portfolio, and I'm like, that's becoming the standard, I think, which
Ooh. Yeah,
is
getting
is tough.
right.
But if you have a teacher you trust, it's all doable. That knows how to hit those things.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
I don't know. It makes it harder for a naive person from
Right.
that hasn't like myself that didn't know the music world. I am thankful that BU gave me a chance.
Mm. Nice, nice. How did you get a composition or piano, private teachers when you were high school? I'm just curious.
Uh, asked around.
Ah, okay.
People that knew people.
Right.
So that's how it was.
Right. I mean, in United States, mostly like that. How it works that
Yeah,
way?
word of mouth. But
Okay.
like, if there's a teacher at a school that you're interested in,
Right.
shoot them an email.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Worst thing that happens is worst thing that happens is they don't have time,
Right.
and they reply and they say that they don't have time.
Right.
And next worst thing that happens is they don't reply at all.
Okay.
And then you're like, did I really want to study with the person?
Mm.
That's that's not going to reply
Right.
to that email. So it's like, send that email. That's that's the advice
Nice.
that I wish someone had said. Um, the worst thing anyone can say is no,
Mm.
and you might as well ask,
Mm. That's true.
right?
Yeah. 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 Very nice.
And
Yeah.
usually they'll say yes. I think I found that people
Mm.
say
I think so.
people want to be supportive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Except the grants and call for scores, mostly.
Except grabs and calls for scores. Yeah, they always say no.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, uh, but that's because they're saying yes to their friends too. So everybody's saying yes to their friends. So
All right. Thank you so much for your time and being with me
thank you.
today. It was so much fun, and I'm so glad to reconnect with you.
Yeah, it's so nice to see you, and we're gonna have to see each other at some point.
Yeah, sure,
And
for sure, right?
yeah, You're in Jersey when you're in New York, right? Or
Yes, yes.
oh yeah,
Scandal Jersey. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're
Oh, you
you're on
remember?
the
Yeah,
you're the other side.
yeah.
Yeah, North Jersey
Very nice.
life. Yeah,
Yeah.
I live like near farms and pine trees. It's very different.
Well, nice air.
Yes,
Nice
nice
fresh
air.
air, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Please keep me updated in any, excited new projects in the future. And
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, we should
Yeah.
plan something, exciting project together.
We should,
Yeah,
or at least like a Manus reunion.
yeah,
Like if there are
yeah,
people around, we should get
yeah,
people to get together.
yeah,
That'd be
right?
fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know like Rona's still in New York.
Uh-huh.
Um, James Lindsay's still in New York.
Nice.
Uh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Should we like create create a like a reunion chat group or something like that?
That'd be fun. I think
Yeah,
that'd be
right.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
We should make something then. Hey,
Yes. Maybe after the summer,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
sure, sure.
we can do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Thank you so much for today, Tom.
Yeah. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I hope you get, invite you back, another episode, maybe, maybe next season. Um,
Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
so we have more fun talk and, share more things about it.
That means I'm going to have to do more stuff before next season.
No
So
worries.
that's good.
No, no
Yeah.
pressure at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a great rest of the day. And
Thank you. You too. It must be night there, so
yeah, yeah, I'm
have a
gonna
good
go
night.
sleep.
Yeah.
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 Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye
I'll
bye.
see you later.
Yeah, see
Bye.
you